In this video, we're going to talk about how to create groups, and I'm going to show you multiple ways to do that, and how to edit those and the membership within them. So we start out, we go to participants, and you can see here I have a number of students in this class, and notice under participants there is a groups listing. So right now these students aren't in any groups. So from our pull down menu, we're going to go to groups. And here we see there are no groups in the class. So we'll start off by the simple method. We're going to do create group. And we can simply name this. So we could call this red group. And we can give a description of the group. We can give an enrollment key, and that's important if you're going to use self-select. We can allow group messaging, which I recommend allowing group messaging because inside of the mobile app, this will allow the students to connect to each other and send messages within their group. So if you're doing group work, that's a very convenient way to do that. And we can also do a picture for the group, but most people don't put anything in there. We're going to hit Save Changes, and we have our first group created. We can do that multiple times. So we could call this blue, and we would go and do the same things. So now we've created two groups, but there are no membership. And that's what the little parentheses with the 0 is. There's no memberships for that. If we want to change that, let's say that we wanted to change the blue to green, we would highlight it. So highlight the blue and then edit group settings, and we can change the name. Save changes. So now we have a green group and a red group. To put members in that group, we're going to highlight it and say add remove group or add remove users. Here's all the students within the class, and the number at the end is the number of groups that they're in. So if I click this, I've added that student to this group. They are taken out of the list because they can't be in a group more than once. So I could add 2 students to that. I'm going to go back to groups. Now we're going to see there are 2 people in green. If we go to red and add remove users, now notice this student has a 1 beside their name indicating they're already in a group. I'm going to add this student and this student to this group, and back to groups. So now I've created 2 groups with 2 students each. Additionally, so that's edit the group settings. We can delete a selected group by highlighting it and simply hitting delete. That's the manual creation. We can also auto create groups. So if we go here, we're going to have a naming scheme. So group, and the @ symbol indicates a letter. If we put a numbered symbol, a pound, that will indicate a 1, 2, or 3, and it'll do it sequentially. And if you forget that, it's right under this little question mark here. It will tell you how to do that. And then we're going to say auto create the groups based on, and we can either do number of groups or members per group. So let's say if we do number of groups and do 3, again, here's group messaging. I would recommend saying yes to that so that students can use the communication function. We're going to select members with the role, and I'm going to select teacher. If we do all, then teachers, secondary teachers, things like that will be assigned a group membership as well. So typically we're going to have student there. And we can also select members from a predefined group. Remember, we had red and green. So we could say, just select these members from people that are in green group. This is particularly helpful if you've used meta courses and brought in groups. You could select groups based on a meta course group, which would be all the students from a section. And we can allocate members randomly or by first name, last name, ID number. Typically randomly is what's used. We can ignore users in groups. So if I click this, the 4 people that I had put in the previous groups would not be included in the list. And if I had used members per group, This piece here keeps it from having one person or two people per group. So if they divide the course up and you're going to end up with one person alone in a group, it will just make a larger group for that one person. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this like this and hit submit. And so now I have 3 new groups with 3 people each. So I have green and red, which I manually created, and I have groups 1, 2, and 3 with 3 in there. The 4 people that are in these other 2 groups are also included in these groups. So that is create group and then auto create group. Additionally, on this page, if you have a large number of groups, you can bring those in through a file. So I actually have here a text file. The first line of it is group name. You have to have that in there. And then I have 5 groups here, and their names are just those 5 groups, and I've saved that as a text file. So if I go to import groups, I can upload that group's text file and say import groups, and that will build me those 5 groups. No membership, just the groups. So if you want to do that to pre-populate the group names, if you've got really complicated group naming, that would be good as well. Deleting a group is simply clicking on it and say delete selected group. And keep in mind, no matter how these groups are created, you can add, remove users, and edit group settings and delete groups the same way, whether they're MetaCourses groups, whether they're the MetaCourse Sync group, whether it's the self-select group. All of those can be manipulated from here after the fact. Additionally, if we go under the pull-down menu again, there is an Overview tab, and this gives us a nice kind of breakdown of who's not in a group, what the groups are, and their membership. So number of people in it and who they are, and what the group names are, and anyone not in a group, because I never assigned myself to a group in this as teacher. So that's a nice clearinghouse page for those. Groupings will be another video. We'll show that separately.